Welcome back to Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, Anime Review, episode number 25. Yeah, this is predictable if I get this far. So, this episode we're covering the 28th episode of the series, which is also the 4th episode of Season 2, Letter of Invitation. This episode covers the prologue and chapter 1 of Volume 8. Yes, we are officially starting the university arc with this very episode. Now, here is the thing about this particular book. It is 8 chapters. I'm looking at it right now, it's over just barely over 200 pages. It's like 201 pages. It's really short. And I kind of predicted, given how the length this thing is, this will be about 4 episodes. I'm guessing at that, presumably, but that all depends upon the studio. So with this one, we pick up 2 years after events of the last episode. Yes, 2 years. That means Rudius is roughly, I think, about 16 at this point in time, because I think that when the thing started, it had been a year since Eris left him. Yeah, like a full year since events of the previous season, so it's like a year. So he's traveling with Soda, and he basically takes care of these beasts and basically take care of a dragon. Yes, a freaking red dragon in this series. Which shows up after he defeats the beast and the dragon shows up. Rudy's kills him single-handedly. And it looks like, though, the animation updated his staff. It looks a bit more, it would look more browner in the previous episode. Here it's basically more blackish color, like covered in metal. But still covered up by basically his little cloth thing. And then basically he goes back to town, gets a reward, goes to eat, and then Eloise shows up. Well, actually, first they hear we have thinking songs like, oh, about the Quagmire, and Eloise shows us like, oh, it's like, there you are, Quagmire Rudius. And he's like, okay, yes, I'm him. Who are you? And then, of course, she starts, like, very teasing him, possibly trying to seduce him. Like, I'm Eloise Dragonheart. I'm an old friend of your father. I used to be your father's party. And I'm an old friend of Roxy. He's like, Roxy, yeah! Yeah. Because he always, oh, by the way, the episode opened very strangely before this with him praying to Roxy's panties. And we get Roxy mentioned this episode. Of course, they also brought the fact that he traveled the Demon Continent, which that happened toward the second half, toward the end. That happened throughout pretty much the second half of Season 2. Season 1, excuse me. So, and of course, basically, she's just here just to see him. And she stays with him for quite a while. How long? I think presumably over the course of this episode, I'm guessing about a couple months passed by. Because, oh, by the way, apparently he has left town with Saul. It looks like it's a different town than from the previous episode. He's also got a much more nicer and more spacious room. This stuff it can look like it has like a branch, like a pillow through it. The bed is bigger, and probably because basically working with this party, he made a lot of money. So, and of course, she stays next door, and she proceeds to do her normal thing, where she basically sleeps with 5 or 6 guys at once. Yes, seriously, including the leader of Rudius' party himself. Yep, while Rudius continues his daily exercise, push-ups, running. But you have a lot of muscle mass. Yes. And then, of course, Ellis comes to his room. You think, oh, is she coming here to sleep with him? No, she's here to deliver a letter. Rudius opens it up, and it's a letter from the University of Magic. A school first mentioned back in Season 1 for the show that they have frequently mentioned throughout basically a little bit of, like, throughout the second half of, like, the first half, like a handful of episodes of Season 1. It's like that was dropped at some point. Sapphire gets mentioned in the episode, and she shows at the very end, which I'll get to that. Eris gets mentioned. Yes, by name. And, of course, basically the fact that they have invited him to become a special suit, which, in case you're curious, though, yes, did happen. Now, before I continue here, they have pretty much, in this episode, they kept very, very close to the original chapters. Like, Chapter 1 is very faithfully adapted. I was surprised. I thought they might alter stuff, but no, they kept pretty much everything in. Yes. The prelude, I think they kind of cut a little bit at the beginning, but most of it they gave everything in. Yes. So, then he speaks to somebody who actually has been there before. A guy by the name of... What is his name? No, not him. Oh, by the way, the reason why before I continue this, there's one thing I forgot to mention. Eloise does mention that they have found Zenith. She's in a lab, which basically that's something explored in book 12. Well, that's Rudy. Basically, that whole mention is a setup for book 12. Yep, she's in a place known as the May City of Rapid, and also, well, the fact that also Rox is there too, which that's also for Rox's return. In case you're curious though, is she in books 8 through 11? No, she is not there. The reason why she's not there because basically she's just off doing someplace else. Because focus on Rudius these 3 books. Rudius gets a ton of development over the course of 5 books. Now, one thing that a lot of people may not know about Book 7, which basically went through the first few episodes of the season, is that was actually an original story done by the creator himself to fill the gap, basically, between what happened at the end of, basically, Book 6 and, well, Book 8 technically is Book 7. And you're thinking, what? Really? Well, there's a... Okay, the series adapted from a web novel, originally, and the writer basically decided to basically do this. Where the first 6 books are off in the first 6 volumes. It's when to get to book 8, that's where it deviates. Excuse me. And also, throughout the last few books, they've been actually splitting up the books themselves. Like, for example, like books 22 and 23 are basically volume 22. 24 and 25 is basically 23, and book 26 is 24. Yes, mostly put a lot of these light novels usually cover one book, but the last few books, and they probably did this in order to stretch it out, presumably. Yes, so technically, even though it's light novel volume 7, it's volume 8, it's actually web novel volume 7. Yes, so so basically, he talks to this guy who went there, dropped that first year. They chat for a bit. Ellie shows up, tries to seduce him, obviously. And of course, basically, then he gets visited from the man god. Which, by the way, the translation I read and the end refers to man god, the Wicked website refers to him by a completely different name. Yes, they refer to his name as Hittergami or human god, despite the fact in the translation and the anime refers to him as the man god. Yes. And we see him a lot more in this episode. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so basically, like, you see him in his regular form, which, here's the thing about him in his original form. Now, also, the only reason why the man god is here, because basically we're adapting from original source, because we're adapting the original source material again. Yes, because he was absent because he was not necessary. And also, Rudy has mentioned it had been 2 years since he last spoke to him. So my guess is before he arrived in current stuff. So, yeah, so he's told, go to the university and investigate the mass teleportation incident. To investigate it. Like, okay, give this assignment. Alright, so he and Luis, of course, says goodbye to his 4 party, and they go off, and that's how the episode ends. Give a little nudge. And by the way, at the end of the episode, we see cameos by Cliff, Ariel, Luke, who was actually Rudius' cousin, and, well, gets involved in his life a lot throughout the books. We also see the anime debuts of these people. First of which is Borgadai. Well, technically, it actually first appearance. This actually was his debut. Yes, for some reason, I think he made his debut in book 6. This actually was his first appearance in the anime. Yes, which is interesting to say the least. We also see the debut of Lena Deladoya, or Lena. Yes, the niece of Galuthine, an old friend of Paul's. And another one is her sister, Persuna. And we also see the return of Zenobia. Yes, first time since the one of the later episodes of the first season. In case you're curious though, does he play a role in these books? Starting with book 8. Oh heck yes, he's basically like Rudius' best friend. His story gets wrapped up by, surprisingly, book 19 of the series. Yes, they kind of really wrap up his plot thread because he's like an unresolved plot thread. He comes back here after his last scene back in the stuff after book 5 for the series. Here he is 3 books later. He's basically a supporting character in the series into book 19 where they kind of in a way retire the character. He doesn't do much in the last couple books I read, per se. The first I read is book 22. And by the way, in case you're curious though, the books are amazing to read. Yes, they're a lot of fun. It's one book series I always look forward to reading every time the book comes out. So, he's here. Of course, he's also rubbing against the statue. Which you're curious though, does he do that often? Yes, he has a fetish for statues. Plus, of course, basically, his bodyguards in the book too. Yes, his bodyguard that briefly appeared in the previous season. Here, she plays a role, and I'm hoping. Now, here's the thing, though. Zenobia himself calls Rudius master. Rudius thinks of him as his best friend. That's mostly basically what he's here for. He's basically like the only reason why I think that they brought him back here because basically he's a leftover plot thread. He basically is probably more plans for him. So. We're going to see him throughout the rest of this arc, and in case you're curious, so, is he in? He's here for book 8, and here book 9. He disappears sporadically throughout these books until book 19. Now, in the case of Ariel, Luke, and, well, Silent Fritz, aka Saphentite, which we know is Saphentite. Now, Fritz is here to set up basically, well, what we're going to see throughout this whole arc, which... This was now, I had heard that this particular arc was an arc that a lot of people were not very keen on. Some people describe this arc as boring. In my honest opinion about the University arc, the novelization of it, I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. And it basically is continuing plot threads we have from the previous books. Oh, by the way, Rudy still has the amulet that Salvatore gave back in book 1. Which is awesome, the fact that happened. And Eloise sees that in the episode. Yep. But this episode was really good, and I just cannot wait for the next week's episode. Yep. Yeah, this episode makes me that I'm looking forward to next episode. Which will air, well, it airs Sunday, but I review it Monday. Because Monday is a free day, is basically was left open due to my smartphone wrap up. That's why I'm reviewing this today, not yesterday. And plus, I don't need to overload Sundays because I like to keep it basically where it is right now. Just keep it to anime. Then you're probably thinking, Nick, why did you review 3 anime yesterday when you only like number 2? Case Code's supposed to be Saturday, but I ran out of time, so there's that. I'm gonna watch Ultra Q definitely, but I probably won't review it until tomorrow. But it's gonna be quite interesting to discuss this one. Now, I have not seen anything from Ultra Q. I'll discuss it more tomorrow. Yep. But yes, that's going to be pretty much a particular view. I was thinking of a comic corner, but I think I'll save for tomorrow. When I get a chance to view Ultra Q. Now, Ultra Q I'm watching on Tubi. So, it's going to be quite interesting. Okay? Next video tomorrow. Bye.